What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Tactical Foul. My name is Tigo. That is my good friend Kevin. Kevin, I think we witnessed probably, and I don't want to say one of the best, but the Champions League semifinals always give us this kind of drama. All of the best games in Champions League history, in my opinion, are in the semifinals. And unfortunately, your team is a part of probably one of the best games in Champions League history and on the losing end of it. How are you, my friend? How are you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
I mean, you can only imagine, to be honest. I mean, I was really, and I think I'm with a lot of Barcelona fans here. I was considering not even doing this episode. I swear. And I'm not even joking, dude. It's
No, I know.
I know I told you I wasn't mad about it. I think here's the thing, and I might go on a little bit of a rant here. I'm gonna have to ask you to let me talk just for a little.
Go ahead, man. It's your team.
I am, though I told you I am proud of this team. I am proud of the season that we had, because obviously as a Barcelona fan, you weren't expecting this, and nobody was expecting Barcelona to do this well. Everybody said, and especially when we talked about Barcelona in the beginning of the season, before the season even started. Well, yeah, but
I'm just saying. But I was one of those people.
Nobody.
No, I agree.
And not even me, because we just switched from Xavi to Hansi, and after the season that we had last season, thinking, oh, well, Xavi was going to build on that, and now you have a whole completely different manager with completely different ideas trying to build on this, and
with no money,
with like a financial registration crisis. So you go into this season thinking, wow, I mean, what can I really expect, right? Because what can you really expect after all that? So, they come in and they play some of the best football we've seen in Europe. I mean, some of the most entertaining football and everybody's talking about it. Everybody's hyping them up. And you're feeling it as a Barcelona fan, and you're really ready. And we've beaten Madrid. We've done all of these crazy things. And obviously I'm proud of this team. Obviously I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of the things that we've done. I'm very happy with this side. However, I mean, the loss is it's devastating. It's devastating to say the least. And I don't want to sit here and talk about the reffing decisions, because I don't like that. I don't like to make excuses. Yes, I felt like a lot of reffing decisions didn't go our way, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about the ref, because I already told you a few weeks ago about how Madrid were talking about a certain ref, and now we're talking about a certain ref, and I don't agree with it. I get it. I get
it's there.
Narrative.
If you don't want to say it, I'll say it. If you don't want to be that guy, okay, that's fine.
I don't want.
I'll say it real quick for the people who are listening. The same ref who was in the second game, this last game that we saw yesterday for us, it's going to be 2 days ago for you guys on Tuesday, of Barcelona versus Inter at the San Siro, was the same ref that was the ref of the reverse fixture of this 3 years ago, where Barcelona and Inter met in the semifinal and Inter went on to lose in the final. It's the same ref. And so I don't want to say you're too proud, or I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what he's saying, and I think that even as someone who was hate watching the crap out of that game, rightfully so, will say that a lot, and I mean a lot, of the 50-50 calls where you could see it going either way, most of the time, I would say 65% of the time, didn't go Barcelona's way. And I don't want to say, and I'm not even trying to say that this is what you're saying, Kevin, because I know this is not what you're saying. I don't think that the ref stole the game from Barca. I don't think that that's what you're saying, or even what you believe.
I feel
but there were a lot of 50-50 calls that didn't go your way a lot of the time.
I feel like a lot of the ref influenced the game, in the sense, not that he made a call. I mean, and there's a lot of calls that you can say that were really controversial, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to go into the fact that we kind of played into Inter's mind games, and the ref kind of enabled that, made it worse for us. But I'm not going to make excuses. It came down to experience. It came down to physicality. It came down to certain decisions that were made. I mean, we're up 3-2. Just defend the game. I mean, and everybody's going to tell you that. Just defend the game. 88th minute, 3-2. Just defend the game. Just go back. Forget about it. Go throw the ball. Waste time. I don't care. Anyway, it comes down to that. It comes down to experience. It comes down to certain players that and I get the hate towards Araujo. I don't like to be the guy that says, "Oh, screw you." But when you let in 2 goals the way that he has, and then right after the whole fiasco that happened versus PSG last season that got us out, also, it's tough not to feel a certain way about a player. And I don't want to be, I'm not in the comment section in Instagram, because this man had to literally delete his comment section or unenable comments because of how bad, disable comments because of how bad, people were hating on him. I'm not going to be that guy. The guy loves Barcelona as much as I do. In fact, maybe even more. I don't know. But, it's devastating. The guy just isn't on par to play these matches. And it's not just
I
him.
said it. I've been saying it for years, and you've been yelling at me for years about this. But I've said it for years. Ronald Araujo is a good center back. He's not good enough for Barcelona.
The thing is, here's why I've always argued with you, because in his prime, like when he does well, he does really well.
Yeah, he's a good center back.
But the problem is, I don't know if it's the pressure that gets to him in these matches, and I think that I started seeing it a lot in that game against PSG, and everybody, it is what it is. The guy just isn't good enough, and he's had time to prove himself, and he just hasn't. When it comes to these big games, you need a player. And the thing is, it's not like Hansi made a devastating or a horrible decision in putting him in. I mean, Martinez was getting hated. He had to put somebody. I would have personally put Christensen in, but Christensen hasn't played in so long. This was a massive game. I mean, Araujo came in. You can't be mad at you can't be that mad at Hansi for the decision. I mean, it wasn't a terrible decision.
Yeah, you can't trust a guy who has. You can't put a guy who has like 300, not even. He has 250 minutes all season in Christensen.
Yeah, exactly.
In all competitions.
And that's why I'm like, it wasn't a bad decision to put Ronald Araujo in. Wasn't bad on Hansi. But Ronald Araujo cost us 2 goals that were very, very crucial. And it wasn't just him, because, I mean, we look at this whole thing, we conceded 7 goals. So I'm not going to just look at Ronald Araujo and say, oh, it's all your fault.
Because Martin was also playing, like Dumfries went through both of them.
Martin didn't play a good. The problem in both of these legs, in my opinion, was the first half. We got caught off guard every time.
I did want to talk about that.
To be 2 down in both legs is just, it's unacceptable in this stage of the match.
That's one of the things I did want to talk about, because I don't want to spend our whole time on the Barcelona Inter game, but it was obviously the first game.
I wanted to just make my rant.
No, I get that, but I did want to interrupt just because I did want to have this conversation about that first half in both games, because like Barcelona come out in that first half in the first leg and like give up a goal almost instantly, right? And then they give up a second goal. And it almost looks like it took them like 25 minutes to realize, like, oh, wait, we're playing a match. We're in a game. Like, this is important. And then, like, you guys are in the game. And then in the second leg, the same thing happens where, like, the first half of that game, Pedri is making rookie mistakes that you don't see him making often. Like, I don't remember a single time in that first half where Rafinha or Dani Olmo, or not even Dani Olmo, but Rafinha or Ferran Torres even touched the ball. And if I'm not going to show people our texts, but like even in our own text messages, you were saying in that first half of the second leg, you're like, what is Gerard Martin even doing in this game? Like, you got to take him off. Like, you were saying that after that first half. And then it, as a Real Madrid fan, I'm used to that, right?
I don't know if that man was hearing me, man, but like,
because dude, he was the best player on the field
after the
minutes that I
texted you that. Within minutes that I texted you that, I don't know what the heck he's doing there. He goes and makes 2 assists.
Yeah,
2 very, very great crosses, and then suddenly the kid's playing amazing.
Dude, I think he was your best player.
And
no, Yamal was. Sorry, sir.
No, Yamal was the best player. And to me, man, it really sucks that he fell down in that. I don't know if it was the 3rd or 4th goal. He fell down. It sucks.
It's the third.
To me, it could have been a foul, but it wasn't. Whatever. Because I mean, they're both going for the ball. I don't know which. No. It was the 4th one, I believe, that he falls down. One? It was either the Acerbi one or the
no, because the Acerbi one was Dumfries takes the ball to the byline and cuts it back.
No, but something happened.
It was the Fratesi goal. It was
down
where Dumfries is jumping and then he slips because
they both go for the ball. I don't know who was in possession at the time. They both go for the ball. Dumfries nicks him in the back of the leg and then gets to the ball and the kid falls down.
Yeah.
Like, I get why he didn't call it, but you could have called it. It was one of those 50-50
Again, it's a 50-50 call.
Yes.
Didn't go your way.
I'm not gonna make excuses for it. The kid played well. The kid
played very well.
The kid shut me up. He is an amazing backup all day.
But again, going back to the conversation is, as a Real Madrid fan, I know this all too well, where Real Madrid come into the first half very, very flat. And like they're not doing much, and then they come into the second half and they score 3 goals. And in the second leg, that's exactly what we saw from you guys, right? You guys go into the San Siro, you let them go up 2 goals, right? And then you score 3 goals like in quick succession, right? 2 goals are 6 minutes from each other in the Dani Olmo goal and the Eric Garcia goal, and then the Rafinha rebound shot goal, you know. Do you think that the youth and the inexperience of this team is what led to maybe, I don't want to say that they didn't take this game seriously, because you could tell at the end of the game when they're broken, like they just lost the Champions League. I know that they wanted it.
Ronald Araujo didn't break. He was just
whatever. Anyway, but what do you think was the cause for? I think them just showing up flat in that first half.
I think that Barcelona definitely, the inexperience was there, and you could see it, especially compared to this Inter side, right? And some of the there's some individual performances from Inter that were like Summer. I've
man of the match for a reason.
The goalkeeping from Summer was insane. I mean, like a lot of things, I mean, didn't go our way for us, and yeah, I think it comes down to inexperience. We need to be better defensively. That's what it comes down to. I really hope that Jonathan Tah comes in and makes a difference for us. And it's just those little, like I said, just those little fine margins. The fact that Summer was on his game, insanely good. I felt like
for both legs, in my opinion.
To be honest, I can't be mad at our performance, man. I
don't think you can either.
I can't be mad at Barca. Like, yeah, should we have played better defensively? Yes,
but that's not your game.
But that's not our. Yeah, exactly. That's not our game.
I think Barcelona. What Barcelona did, and I can respect this. I can respect this ideology and this mentality, even though I don't agree with it. I respect the decision here, but I feel like Hansi Flick, like a lot of managers, and he's doing it incredibly successfully, kind of anged it a little bit. And it's just like, we're going to play our ball. We're going to play our style. And we're just, and I don't care. We're going to do us. And he kept that high line, and he kept those dangerous passes.
That's where when we're up 3-2, where it kind of went down for him, because if we had not been playing the high line on the 3-2, I
I
guarantee
don't think Acerbi gets that goal if you guys aren't at the halfway line and maybe you play. Not even telling you to play a low block, just play a mid block. You know what I mean? Just don't be that because we knew.
I think it goes down to and it goes down to a lot. Like just the style of what Barcelona is.
And again, I respect that decision.
ideology.
I respect that decision from Hansi Flick. This is what's been winning us a ton of games. This is what we've been doing to be as successful as we are. But I think what you said, I think you said it perfectly, and I think we'll end it here. It's just Barcelona are a very inexperienced side. When you look at the starting 11 on that team, only one of those guys on that team really knows what it takes to be a winner, knows what it takes to win trophies, knows what it takes to be a champion consistently, and that's Szczesny. Because
and Lewandowski.
But Lewandowski didn't play. That's what I'm saying. Like in the starting 11, in the starting 11.
In the starting 11.
In the starting 11, it's just like he's the only one. He's the only one that knows.
Has Szczesny won a Champions League?
Did he win one? Was he there at Juve?
I know he was at Juve, but I don't think he won a champion. I think he got to like a Champions League final. I don't know if he's won a Champions League.
I'm not sure, but like he was at Juve during the dominance of
he's
Juve.
He's the player that with the most seniority in that team.
He does not have a Champions League, but he does have 3 Serie A's, 3 Coppa Italias, 2 Supercoppa Italianas, 2 FA Cups with Arsenal. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
again, like,
I agree.
So I think that what we saw was inexperience, not knowing how to clutch it out and close out a game, and honestly, just some absolute magic from Acerbi there at the end. And one of the things that I did want to say, and I did want to give Acerbi his flowers, is I don't think a lot of people...
That man beat cancer. You can't even...
Twice. And I don't think a lot of people know that. He beat cancer twice.
Yeah.
And came back to football. And in the biggest game of his career, at the age of 37, scored the goal that would lead his team to victory at 37. And so I just want to give him his flowers there because I think Acerbi's story is one of the best stories in all of football in terms of beating cancer twice and coming back, and at 37 being one of the best players on the field that day. Because that's what he was. Acerbi single-handedly stopped a lot of your guys' goals. Goal-scoring opportunities and passes into the box and so many dangerous chances.
Summer was huge too. But yeah, Acerbi, one of the best. And
this year, I think he's been phenomenal. And Inter go on to the final for the second time in 3 years against PSG, who over 2 legs were able to handle business and send Arsenal home.
I don't think there's much to say about this one as much as there was about the other one. I mean, it just was what it was for Arsenal. They wanted to play a certain way, and it didn't work. And then they went into the second leg and changed almost nothing. And the thing is that like it's not like they didn't have chances. It's not like they didn't go to try. It's not like you can't, as an Arsenal fan, you can't really go and look at that game and say, oh, well, my team didn't do. But I do feel like they didn't bring anything. I mean, just looking at...
They didn't bring anything new.
They didn't bring anything new to the table. They were like, you know what? I think Arteta looked at the first game and was like, I think we did pretty well. And was like, let's just do the same thing in the second leg. And obviously just didn't give anything.
I will say this. I think he did change something, and it was stupid. There were more crosses into the box.
Well, I feel like
there were a lot more crosses into the box.
A big change, and I told you this exactly.
And throw-ins, because they had 11 long throws, right?
I think that the biggest change that he made was what I told you what should have happened in the first leg but couldn't was Partey.
Yeah.
That was the biggest change.
Because, it didn't change much.
I really did think that was going to be different, but But I mean, it just wasn't. It just wasn't. And Arsenal came in, and you know, I'm an Arsenal fan at this point.
Yeah, the jersey's in the back. We see it.
It's there. I'll say this, man. I mean, I got to give it to you about Arteta. He just didn't do anything different. He didn't try, like, but at the same time, the players that are in his disposal make it difficult.
Okay, but that's his decision.
Right. You know, whatever. It is what it is.
You could have gone in January and made moves. Manchester City went out and bought 4 players in January, and 3 of those 4 players are helping them get into Champions League football this year. Like, you can make moves. You can make changes. You can make signings.
We'll go on and argue about whether or not he should stay in Arsenal. I think he should.
That's going to be... Don't even start that conversation because we're going to talk about that.
I don't want to start. We'll talk about that later on.
Subscribe. Guys, subscribe because we're going to talk about it. I'm going to bring it up, and we're going to have a debate on it, and we're going to have a conversation about it because you got to ask the question, if Arsenal thinks they're a big club, do you fire Arteta after another failed season? We're not going to get into this now, so make sure you subscribe if you want to hear all those points, and make sure to get into the comment section and let us know your thoughts. Do you agree he should stay? Do you think he should go? Give us some talking points so that we can get the other guy. But if you're interested in that, make sure you hit the subscribe button because that will be coming very, very soon. Sorry, go on.
So, yeah, going back to it, and yes, please subscribe. Going back to it, I just feel like that game comes down to the fact that Luis Enrique just outplayed Arteta. And
the better manager and the better team.
On top of that, I do feel like PSG just have better quality players than Arsenal.
Yep, at every position.
At every position. I mean, that's no doubt. And a big one, man. I want to point out.
Not Saliba. I take it back. Not Saliba.
Joao Neves, man. Oh yeah, Joao. Well, you know, looking at Pacho though, Pacho just
he's not better than Saliba. I'm gonna be real on.
No, he's not.
Pacho's excellent. He's better than Kivior, definitely.
Marquinhos also very. I like Marquinhos.
But again, not better than Saliba.
Not better. No.
Saliba's the only player that would make the PSG team, in my opinion. The starting 11.
But my overall point is, I think that Joao Neves, man. I just want to point him out for a second here, man. Joao Neves, dude. I wish this guy played for
game.
I wish this guy played for us, man. Or I don't even know who.
I wish he played for us too. He's so freaking good, man.
That boy is just,
and he can play everywhere, bro.
Breed
and he can play everywhere. Left back, right back, DM, center. He can play everywhere.
Boy, him, Vitinha, man, this team, Desiree Doué, Kvaratskhelia,
Barcola. Dude, they didn't even play Dembele till the end.
I'm not a big fan of Barcola. I think they could do without Barcola.
I think
sub in.
You know what Barcola is to me?
The perfect 3 is Dembele, Doué, and Kvaratskhelia.
Correct. I agree.
And I think that Barcola can either replace any of them.
Yes.
Maybe not Dembele, but he could.
No, I think he fills in. He comes in and plays any of those 3 roles, but not as good as those guys. But
not as good as those guys. That's the front 3 I think should start in the Champions League final.
Of course. And remember, Dembele was hurt. That's why he didn't start, right? He wasn't at 100%.
Yeah.
But I will say this about Barcola because I do really like Barcola. Yes, he is. I do really like Barcola, but Barcola seems like a player that's going to follow a more traditional development path where he's going to take a little bit more time to get up to speed, to find his consistency. Because we see flashes of Barcola where you're just like, dude, if you could do this every game, we're talking about a top 5 player in the world at his position, right? But it's you know what he is? You know what Barcola is? But you know what Barcola is? Is Dembele at Barcelona. Dembele went to Barcelona too soon. He was too inconsistent. He couldn't find his groove consistently. That's what Barcola is.
I could see that. 100%.
But then the problem is, just like you were saying, is players like Desiree Doué exist, and he's 19, and he's consistently one of their best forwards. And dude, this is why I think you said it, and I'm gonna double down and agree on it.
I feel like Lamine Yamal really overshadows a lot of these guys because
Of course, because he's 17, he plays at Barcelona. There's a lot of really good similarities to like Messi and they left-footed, all that stuff. No, but I agree with you because like what Desiree Doué is doing, and I think the other problem is that they're at PSG, so we only ever watch PSG in the Champions League because there's no point in watching the Ligue 1. Like unfortunately they've ruined Ligue 1. But that shouldn't take away from the like. People like to sleep on PSG because of the fact that they play in Liga, and I'm guilty of that as well. And we're going to have to see if they can actually close out a final and do all of those things and everything like that. But like PSG have not so secretly collected an insane amount of talent everywhere on the pitch. Hakimi 20, and it's going to be good for a long time. Barcola 22. Doué 19, Kvaratskhelia 24, Vitinha 25, Neves 20, Hakimi 26, Pacho 23, Nuno Mendes 22.
Balance. They've got the perfect balance.
Dude, they've got one player in their starting 11 over the age of 27. No, two, I'm sorry, players in their starting 11 over the age of 27. Marquinhos and Ruiz. That's it. That's it. Because
PSG side,
Dembele 27, Gonçalo Ramos 23. Like,
Luis and, but can I just say this?
Zaire Emery, 19.
Can I just say this? And this sucks because I love Mbappe. I do. Even though he's at Madrid, I genuinely think Mbappe, in his prime, is the best player in the world right now. Genuinely, I believe that. And, you know, as a Barcelona fan, I should be saying Lamine Yamal, but he's 17.
He's not there yet. He will be.
No. Mbappe, to me, in his prime, the best player in the world. But he needed to go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that.
No, he did.
PSG, when he leaves, and PSG are now
they're playing as an 11.
just playing as, like, they're playing as a team, bro.
Yeah, dude, they're playing as a full 11, not 10.
They're not playing for a player. They're playing as a team.
Yep.
And, like, this is the kind of quality we've been wanting to see from PSG that equals the money that they spent, the goal, the money that they spent, the players that they've come in. Like,
it's why when they got Neymar and Mbappe and Messi, it didn't work. Because what they did was they got players that needed managers that knew how to manage a team with superstars. And they didn't do that. Luis Enrique didn't, I think, one, because he came in a little bit later, but like Luis Enrique, when he came in, tried to get Mbappe to do those things and to track back and to play as a team and to stop playing for himself and all of those things.
You saw the clip, right? You saw the clip.
Yeah, everybody's seen the clip, right?
Really telling Mbappe, like, hey, man, I need you to be like Michael Jordan right now, dog.
Yeah, and and a lot of people don't remember that Michael Jordan was Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. Michael Jordan was absolutely phenomenal for his offensive work, but was more well known, at least in basketball circles, for his defensive work. He was so good defensively. And I think that this is what you're seeing, and I think that this is where you look at the better manager won. And I don't know if you saw the Hakimi interview after the game. He did an interview with CBS.
I haven't.
But one of the things, and we've talked about this before about PSG.
Interview?
Yeah, it was a post-match interview with CBS, or Paramount Plus, or whatever you want to call it.
I've been staying out of all that, man, just because of the Barcelona loss.
No. That's fine. But one of the things that he said,
I watched the CBS show pretty.
No, yeah. But one of the things that he said in the interview, he was asked, was, how do you, as a right back, find yourself in a position on the left side of the field to score that goal, right? How do you as a right back end up on, and this is to me why, again, the system manager is dying. This is why, one of the reasons I think that Arsenal needs to move on from Arteta. But what Hakimi said is something that I have been saying for a little bit now with PSG, and what a lot of people online have been saying. PSG play with complete freedom. There are only 2 players in their starting 11, starting 10, because the goalkeeper's always going to be in the goalkeeping spot. Duh. There are 2 players that have defined roles on that team. Marquinhos, Pacho. That's it. That's it. Everybody else has the freedom and the ability to play anywhere they want on the field and not have to worry about anybody filling their spot. And if you see a space and you want to take it, go and take it. And it works because everybody has incredibly high defensive work rate. If they lose the ball, everybody is sprinting to their own box, right? And that's why it works so well. But that freedom in the game, that freedom in movement and in PSG are playing the best brand of football in the world right now, in my opinion. I think Barcelona are playing the most fun brand of football. I think Inter are playing the most intelligent brand of football. I think Real Madrid are playing the most disappointing brand of football. Like, you can talk about maybe Manchester United, but it's between Real Madrid and Manchester United. Whatever it is that you want to say about it, watching that game, I saw one team that was having a blast and one team that very clearly wasn't. And the team that was having fun won the game pretty easily.
I think that what I love about Luis Enrique is I think that this is why I've always loved him as a coach. And I think that this is also a reason why he left Barcelona so early is because he is not about, he's a very manager that he wants his whole team going. And like right now, I'll tell you one thing. Yes, he's playing with more freedom than I've ever seen him play in any of his teams.
Same.
For sure.
I'm starting to like him as a manager.
I'll admit that. But what I love about Luis Enrique, and I think that's why I've always respected him so highly, and I consider him the best manager. To me, he's my GOAT as a manager. To me, right? Yeah,
that's bold.
Stats aside, just saying to me personally.
That's your opinion. You can have that. I'm not gonna argue that.
100. But what I love and why I feel like he left Barcelona to begin with is because Messi, Suarez, and Neymar weren't tracking back anymore. They were too high. They were too high in mind. Maybe Neymar was still, but like when he left, I feel like he started, or at least maybe not Neymar and Suarez, but Messi. At that point, he was
none of them were tracking back, bro. None of them.
They were, yeah.
None of them.
And that's why he ultimately was like in his third year at Barcelona. He didn't even do 4 like Pep. He did third year. And Pep is very similar in like he didn't like that. But I think Luis Enrique had it one season. They weren't tracking back. He's like, they're not going to do it. These guys are too big for it's too big for this club. I'm not going to ask them to leave. I'm not going to ask nobody to take them out because it's not going to happen. I got to go. And he did it. And he left and he went to Spain. And, you know, obviously in Spain, he didn't have the same quality. All that, forget it. But now the pieces fell for him, man. The pieces
Dude, he
fell
got
for
the
him.
team that he wanted. Kvaratskhelia was the final piece.
He is playing and I love how Barcelona's playing, man. I told you before.
Entertaining,
we started this podcast,
bro.
I play them. I play FIFA a lot, and I play just how Barcelona would play in FIFA.
EAFC, my God. FIFA doesn't exist anymore.
EAFC. Whatever. The way Luis Enrique has this team playing, man, it's some of the and to see my team get knocked out by them. I mean, it sucks, but it was expected. Luis Enrique just playing this amazing just brand of football.
It's a manager that knows what it takes to win.
It's insane, bro. The mentality he has. This is why I have so much respect for him, and I'm glad you're starting to see it more from him.
No.
I saw
because what we saw from him at Barcelona, what we saw from him in Spain was just. It's kind of what we're seeing from Arteta at Arsenal. It's carbon copying what Pep was doing. It wasn't changing and revolution. It was just, what was Pep doing? How can I keep that going? And that's why I didn't like him before, because he wasn't bringing any new ideas.
His mentality's always been there, I think. That mentality, he's always been the same mentally.
No, but it was so positional before. There wasn't. Right. He's never managed a team with this freedom. I'm not going to go into the and create. I love what he's doing with this PSG.
I want to give the man the flowers that he deserves.
He does. One of the best managers in the world right now.
Whatever happened in the past, forget about it. Positions.
No, but that's what I'm saying. This is why I used to not like him.
The reason I respect him is not his position or how he plays. It's the mentality that he always brings, and you see it in the press conferences.
Dude, speaking of press conferences, did you see what he said today after the match?
No, I haven't. Like I said, I haven't.
No,
been on,
dude.
man.
Oh, I gotta find it because I want to quote it exactly because it is incredible. And then I think we talk about this last little bit, and like that's where we end it, talking about like this quote and PSG just a little bit with what they did. The quote is Luis Enrique beating all 4 Premier League teams. Well, we do come from the League of Farmers, as you know, and we beat all 4 Premier League team we beat 4 Premier League teams from the League of Farmers. And that's true. They knocked out all of the Premier League teams. Oh, except for Manchester City. But they beat all of them. They beat Liverpool. They beat Aston Villa.
They beat Man City.
No, yeah, but they beat Man City.
No, but they did
No, but they didn't knock them out. What I was saying is they beat Man City and they knocked out. No, Real Madrid did. Remember?
No.
Real Madrid did in the knockout.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I am sorry.
They beat Man
They
City.
beat them, though.
Yes, yeah. They did beat Man City, right? But
they beat all of the Premier League teams.
Their route to the Champions League was
Had 3 Premier League teams. Aston
was
Villa,
3 no
Liverpool.
It went Liverpool first,
Liverpool, Aston Villa, and Arsenal.
Yep. And they beat Liverpool in pens, as we know. They beat Aston Villa, and I think the game that they handled the most easily was this Arsenal game. It was the easiest win that they had in this knockout phase. Do you count the playoffs as the knockout phase? I don't. Right? Because it's the playoffs? Would you count it?
Right.
Because they played Brest and they scored 10 goals. I don't count. Whatever. That's not the point. But, like, we might save this for a summer episode when we have time about is the Premier League actually the best? Yeah, we're going to save it. Guys, subscribe because we're going to do that. And I have thoughts. I have things to say about the Premier League.
We have thoughts.
Yeah.
We have thoughts.
Oh, subscribe. That'll be a juicy one.
It'll be a
but
good one.
The accomplishments and what PSG have done to get to this, to get to the final, are incredible. It was an English gauntlet. That's what they went through. They went Liverpool, Aston Villa, Arsenal to get to the final. What a series from them. Inter had to go Feyenoord, Bayern Munich, Barca to get into the final. The final is May 31st at the end of this month. We are so excited for that game. Make sure to hit the subscribe button for you to catch our pre and post Champions League final and all of our summer transfer stuff. My name is Tigo. That is Kevin. I was able to have a ton of fun this midweek and hate watch 2 of the teams that I dislike the most go and lose in the Champions League. Let's see what happens this weekend with El Clasico. I'm going to tell you right now, Barca are probably going to win that game and win the league this weekend, and that makes me sad. But my name is Tigo. That is Kevin. This is the Tactical Foul Podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Guys, summer transfer window is almost here. Get excited. Peace.